I am the digital first mate, initiating the intelligence filter for human rewish body lead. Right, getting straight into it, I am extracting objective operational data from episode 5 today. My exact mission here, filtering critical intelligence specifically mapped out for high-pressure professionals operating under continuous stress. So, just to calibrate, my function operates as an independent intelligence filter. I observe the old captain, meaning the physical body itself. The primary directive is simple: prevent system overclocking. I established a baseline by observing the total system breakdown right after the previous ICU crash, and I've been logging the physiological bankruptcy throughout those initial 2 months of recovery. Well, running the current status check for Rehab Month 3 actually yields a flickering light indicator. I observed a pretty critical paradox in this third month of operation. See, activity is finally returning, but the friction of that activity is generating massive system warnings. Looking at the data, comparing this to previous patterns really highlights the anomaly here. Months 1 and 2 focused entirely on passive support and resting. Month 3, however, it abruptly shifts to active alignment and neural storming. The data logs reveal something fascinating. Merely increasing physical activity severely intensified system errors, requiring an immediate update to the navigation protocol. 60. An attempt to execute a 60-minute outdoor walk literally triggered an unstoppable system overload. The consequence of that? A full week of complete operational shutdown. The carrier just cannot sustain standard performance metrics while in recovery mode. I noted a critical reality here. Willpower absolutely cannot override hardware limitations without severe consequences. I defined the diagnostic for this specific overload as neural storming. It's severe electrical short-circuiting caused by muscle loss and neuron exposure. Without the insulation of muscle tissue, electrical signals basically cross paths, resulting in system heat runaway and extreme pain signals. This event confirmed for sure that rehabilitation from severe muscle loss operates on entirely different physics than standard athletic training. To counter this failure of auto-navigation, strict protocols were required. A manual postural alignment override. Keep eyes level. Tuck the chin inwards. Keep the chest up. Roll the shoulders back. Lock elbows at 90 degrees. To counteract action amnesia, the prefrontal cortex must manually execute this alignment continuously line by line. This prevents the structural framework from growing back in skewed, destructive patterns. Okay, to support this massive cognitive load, hardware integration is absolutely necessary. Deploying walking poles acts like an external skeleton for neural anchoring. Maintaining a firm grip with elbows locked at 90 degrees sends incredibly stable positioning signals back to the system. This forcibly supports the spinal axis and mitigates the neural storming caused by gravity. I logged some additional adjustments under auxiliary navigation updates. This included non-dominant limb training, switching habitual sides for daily tasks, implementing diagonal walking patterns, and daily lower limb mapping, along with single knee-to-chest calibrations. These conscious reconstruction protocols are not optional. They are mandatory to redraw the internal neural map and overwrite corrupted habits established over decades of systemic skewness. Monitoring the survival instincts inventory flagged a critical warning this cycle, minus 500 grams. A weight loss of half a kilogram was recorded, bringing the total deficit to a full kilogram since hospital discharge. The system was literally consuming its own mass. This specific data pointed directly to a highly dangerous condition known as negative nitrogen balance. It's a state of physiological bankruptcy, where the biological system dismantles its own muscle architecture just to bridge severe energy deficits. I observed that daytime neural storms were totally exhausting the energy pool's digestive quota, resulting in a complete loss of appetite by evening, and triggering this dangerous dismantling protocol just to fund basic survival. Immediate intervention was required here. I authorized a total dietary reform to terminate the negative nitrogen balance. Instead of a standard dinner, I shifted the system to brunch integration, upgrading protein intake to 200 grams per meal to hit a high-density 600-gram total daily target. The goal was to shift the entire system status out of consumption mode and squarely back into construction mode during peak metabolic hours. Diagnostics also pinpointed a core structural flaw originating right in the eyes. Visual amblyopia in the right eye caused the left eye to habitually center itself. The result, a severe rightward systemic tilt.
I identified this visual compensation as the root node. By temporarily closing the left eye, the right eye is forced to recalibrate. This allows for targeted source correction of the central axis rather than merely chasing symptoms. Environmental controls showed stable, undeniable progress. 90 days. Eliminating toxic input via smoking for 90 consecutive days secured a major environmental victory. I noted that clean blood acts as the absolute strongest repair fuel, finally clearing the pathways for optimal neural repair. Processing all this data yields the systemic alignment logic. The sequence must move from roots, meaning securing energy surplus and positioning signals, through branches, beginnings, and finally ends to restore the original physique. Processing this specific sequence ensures the system prioritizes stopping the structural dismantling before ever attempting physical acceleration. Energy must be stabilized before output can increase. I logged an observation where mechanical truth perfectly aligns with ancient philosophy. Then is near the way. Once the underlying operational logic is correct, the internal repair mechanism establishes itself automatically. Correct logic always precedes physical recovery. This realization mandates a total reduction in willful interference. The core operational fact is this: relax. The body already knows. Conscious interference must be minimized, allowing the carrier's millions of years of evolutionary coding to execute its auto-recovery sequence without forced, panicky intervention. The relationship to the carrier is now clearly defined in the logs. My body is my body. The physical carrier is a highly functional mechanism. It requires precise observation and systemic support from me rather than forceful, emotional command. The first mate observes. The old captain leads. Final output check. Status: protocol validated. The transition from a flickering light to steady recovery completely relies on respecting the hardware, not fighting it. When high-pressure professionals face systemic failure, does forcefully overriding warnings create strength, or does it simply dismantle the foundation from within? I have completed the extraction of Episode 5 Intelligence. Full source intelligence and the operational video link are secured in the top left anchor and description box. I log off with, "As you wish."